Hello. Hey, Eli. I got my phone so far away from me, so I gotta like squint. How are you guys doing? Happy Memorial Day weekend, yes. Are y'all grilling tomorrow? Who grilling so I can pull up? I'm good. I'm great, actually. We're grilling, but we're grilling on Monday instead. Hey, y'all. Come catch the positive vibes. Once again, I got on here and my phone is not supercharged, so I'm not gonna be on here too long, but I wanted to stop in. Hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're enjoying Gemini season. Where are my Geminis? If you're a Gemini in here, drop your sign. Where the Geminis at? I was almost a Gemini, y'all, almost. There's nothing wrong with me, honey. I'm just relaxed. I'm just chill. I see some of y'all don't follow directions well. I bet on your report card at school, your teacher will write, doesn't follow directions. It's 4 in the morning. I have Gemini placements, even though I'm a Sagittarius. I'm loving the new moon. Yes. I finished your book. Great book. I'm glad you loved it. Here she go. This dog, y'all. Mm-mm. I'm so happy that you loved it. I don't know if you were the person that I was talking to, but somebody commented and said they read my book and I asked them to leave a review. I don't know if that was you, but if it wasn't, feel free to leave a review wherever you purchased it from. Every time I watch your videos, it's like you talking directly to me. I love that. I think that's important, especially when you like watch channel messages. It needs to feel like you shouldn't feel anxious. Like I think it's you should feel connected to the person who is picking up on your energy. Yeah, that was me. I purchased it on Kindle. I love that. Thank you so much. The name of my book is Transmute and Empower. So I tagged it. I don't know how it's set up on your phone, but I tagged it as one of the products. You can get it on Amazon and you can get it on Barnes & Noble. I think it's on Books A Million too, and a bunch of other websites that I don't have the list of all of them. I just promote them on the most popular ones, which would be Amazon, Kindle, and Barnes & Noble. So you can get it there or you can get it on my website. All that is in the description box. But I appreciate you guys' support. Even if you don't get it or you can't get it, that doesn't matter. I just appreciate you guys supporting me. I really do. Where am I from? I'm from Georgia, honey. I'm from the deep south. I'm from the backwoods. You don't hear my southern accent. You've been glowing different. What you hiding from us? Nothing. I ain't been hiding nothing. Or maybe I am hiding something. Houston, Texas. Okay, didn't Houston just have like really bad tornadoes or something? Something just happened in Houston. I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're okay, William, because I seen that. That was bad. What's good, love? And your yesterday video was so on point. Oh, yesterday's video. Yeah, that's the first time I did an 18 and plus video. That's the first time I really picked up on that type of energy, though, like specifically. So I thought that was very interesting. If you guys didn't watch my video yesterday, you can go watch it. 18 and up only, y'all. It's 18 and up, but I still kept it pretty PG. I didn't say everything I wanted to say. I had to keep it cute. Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I feel sorry for whoever has to deal with that. I mean, that's, you know, that's not okay. It's not okay at all. But I mean, you reap what you sow. So if you can't control yourself enough to stay away from like your friend's partner or your brother or your sister's partner, I mean, what can you control yourself at? Like if you can't control yourself in that way, like I feel like period, like even if it's not someone else's partner that you know, if you can't control your, I guess I would say your sacral, if you can't control your sexual urges or your sacral, I don't feel like you have control of yourself, period. Like I know as teenagers, of course a teenager, that's different. They're going through puberty, they have hormones, they have to learn to control that. But I feel like once you hit a certain age, you need to learn how to control your sacral. You need to learn how to control your sexual urges. Like you really do. Okay? Like you have to. I mean, even as adults, you can, like, we go through stages where our hormones can be out of control, especially, like, I know specifically for, well, I know men go through it all the time. I feel like y'all go through it every day, but I feel like women, we only go through it, like, when we're ovulating, and it's just our body's way of telling us to, okay, it's time to make a baby. So we go through when we're ovulating, but still, learn to control your sexual urges. I feel like it's easier for women only because we're shamed into doing it, but men, y'all aren't shamed into being a not sexual. It's okay for men to be sexual in this society, and I feel like that's part of the problem. And I feel like that's why, like, men who get around y'all carry a lot of energies on you that you don't realize you're carrying and all that stuff. So women, it's easier, but whether you're a man or a woman, learn to control yourself, okay? Please do, because if you can control that, you can control anything. And you want to be in control of yourself. Like, think with this head, not the one at the bottom, all right? Think higher, think above your lower chakras, all right? Think up here. It's so much more beautiful things up here than down there. And if you use this properly, you'll, okay? I'm not even gonna say it, I'm gonna say it, but if you really aligned, if you really healed, if you really get all this together, if you get all this together, everything is together, okay? I'm gonna just say it like that, all right? It's one of one. The lust demon is one of my karmic energies. I know, and a lot of people, if you believe in past lives, I know I do, that stuff can follow you through lifetimes. So I definitely understand. Like I told you guys before, if you're an oldie on my channel, an OG, that I've had like a lot of like really, really sexual dreams that are scary. It's like SA. Like I don't want to, I know we can't say certain things anymore. I don't want YouTube to flag my video, but it's like SA dreams, and they're like monsters and clearly like things that look like demons. It's crazy. And I don't know why. And I pray about it all the time. I say my Psalms. Like, I do all of that. But for some reason, it just keeps happening. I'm not sure why, but it's just weird. But I think somebody told me, one of my subscribers told me that it could be because if you're abstaining from sex in the, uh-oh, sorry y'all, one of my subscribers told me it could be because, like, if you're abstaining from being sexual, sometimes certain energies will try to get you in, like, the dream, like the astral realm and things like that. So I don't know how true that is, but y'all got this. Y'all got this. I've broken a contract in this life, but that lust is still tormenting me. I don't know, Eddie. I don't know. I think maybe do some research, like find videos on that. That's not something I really openly talk about on my channel because I don't know much about it. And I know you're a man, so it's harder. It's way harder for y'all to fight temptation because no one is going to judge you for it. Like, I feel like for most women, it doesn't matter how sexual that they are. Society, what stops them is the judgment. And I feel like for men, it's way harder for y'all. So I don't know. I'm praying for you though, Eddie. I'm praying for you. I think you can do this. I mean, I feel like it's just, it could be like a generational curse thing too. Like, I'm not familiar with your family, but I've been really thinking about generational curses lately and how, like, you know that quote that says it ran into your family, it ran through your family until it ran into you. Yeah, no one before you was able to fight off their lust. No one before you was able to fight off their drug addiction or their gambling addiction or whatever the case may be. No one before you was able to do it. So that's why it's so hard for you to do it. But you were meant to do it. So even if you feel like you can't do it right now, even if you slip up, know that you were chosen to be able to overcome that, and you will. And it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time, but you have to take responsibility. You gotta hold yourself accountable. But it's hard. It's really hard. It really is. I'm my family's generational curse breaker. It's been so intense. Yeah. And I feel like for people who were chosen to break generational curses, it's way more intense on us than it was on the people that came before us. Because I feel like the enemy knows, oh, this is the one. They're going to be the one to break it. It's like written in stone. They're going to break this. So I'm going to do everything in my power to destroy this person. I'm going to up the ante. I'm going to pull out my best tricks. I'm going to do every single thing I can to stop them. Even if the enemy knows they won't stop you, they're going to do everything. They're going to call a whole army against you. They didn't have to do that with your ancestors because your ancestors were not as strong as you are. They weren't. The enemy already knew, like, they're not strong enough. They're not gonna do it. They're gonna fold. They're not even thinking about breaking generational curses. They're gonna do it. But you're different. So it's way more intense. So at least keep that in mind when you are trying to break these curses, because some of y'all have more than one. Keep that in mind. You were already meant to break them, and the enemy is aware of that. So the attacks are going to be way more intense. Thank you. Let them know. Turn your test into a testimony. Exactly. Okay? Period. Because somebody else is going to need to hear it. Somebody else who is going to come after you is going to want to hear this. If y'all don't have journals, write in your journals. At some point when I started writing in journals, I started keeping in mind, I want my daughter to read this one day. Because I want her to know, like, one, I plan on breaking all these generational curses so she doesn't have to. And I know, of course, our kids will have their own challenges, but there's just a lot in my family. And if you know, you know. Some of us just have a lot. So you don't want your kids to go through that, but also just passing down wisdom, I think, is very important. And I want, when she hits certain stages of her life, like, all right, I wrote in this journal when I was 19, like when she turned 19. Okay, this was year 19 for me. Here you go. This was year 20, this was year 21. And, you know, just like, I feel I would love to have read one of my mom's old journals or one of my grandma's. I feel like people don't value that anymore. How do you handle periods when it's difficult to be in the presence of God? What do you mean by that? Elaborate on that one. I feel like I know what you mean, but I just want to be sure. Good parenting can change the world. Yes, it can. It's funny, like for my parents in here, I've been thinking a lot about gentle parenting and how I'm not going to say it's negative. I feel like people just get gentle parenting confused and they don't discipline their kids properly. I feel like there's an issue with like Gen Z parents, and some millennial parents. We were so like a lot of us were so abused and so harmed that we went all the way left. Like don't we want to be so good to our kids that it's actually harmful. And I haven't been very open with you guys about this, but I'm noticing some harm I caused with my daughter now that she's 4. Because I thought I was doing the right thing for so long. And then I realized by the time she turned like 3.5, I was like, I never really disciplined her. And I'm not gonna say she's a bad kid, but she's me. Okay. She's me times 100. And she's a Sag. She's Sagittarius. Y'all know how y'all are. She is very opinionated, and which I like, which I've always said I want her to have a voice, but I noticed like, okay, it's borderline like, how do I put it? I don't want to say disrespectful, but it's like borderline disrespectful. I'll say that. Like, she is extremely vocal and she speaks very almost perfect for her age. She's been speaking in perfect sentences since she was like 2. So she's like, yeah, very blunt, and she questions everything. And every time I tell her something, she's like, she got something else to say, like very combative. So I said all this to say I'm in a space now with like parenting that I'm like, all right, I'm the mother. I'm not your friend. And I feel like I was a friend to her mostly all these years, and I spoiled her. I gave her whatever she wanted. She was such a good kid. I didn't feel the need to discipline her. And now it's like, wow, I'm paying for it dearly. And it's going to take me almost just as much time as it took me to create her to be this way as me to fix it, basically. So yeah, she's teaching me patience right now, so much patience. She did not have a terrible tooth. She was the greatest kid ever, but she a ferocious 4, y'all. So pray for me, because me and her, we've been beefing lately. I'm going through it. I have a nephew. You're not the only one going through this. These kids wilding even on me. Yeah, these kids are wild. Okay, like I was not prepared for toddler. I was not prepared for this. Oh my goodness. Like she's just super sassy, but she's sweet. She just like, child. Yeah, I'm learning though, and it's funny how God works, because a lot of times I'll be like on TikTok or YouTube, and I'll see some really good parenting advice, and I'm like, okay, I needed to hear that. Like I heard one person say, make good on your threats, and not threats like bad threats, but like if you tell your kid, if you do that again, you're gonna go in timeout, or I'm gonna take this from you. Actually do it. Don't say, all right, you got one more time, you got one more time, you got one more time. That's something I used to do with her. I used to give her too many chances. And now I'm learning, okay, I said what I said. If you mess up, you mess up, but these are the consequences from it, okay? But I come from a background that's like, they believed in ass whoopings, and I don't want to do that. So that's the hardest part. But I feel like that's part of our generation just needs to learn, you don't have to hit your child, but you still need to discipline them. And I feel like our generation is so against hitting because we were hit and we saw how it affected us mentally, that we just feel like that's the only form of discipline. You got to find a way to discipline. But I don't believe in hitting. I just don't. Like, even when she was younger, if I would pop her in the hand, I would feel terrible. Like, it's not right. Like, it's not something I should be doing. So I don't believe in it, but other people do. So it's a tough thing. I just I try to remember, like, adults don't even listen. Like, adults are hard-headed. They don't listen. They don't follow instructions. So why would you expect a 4-year-old to be able to do that? You know, a 4-year-old doesn't truly know better. They know to a certain extent, but they still have trouble with impulse control. And these adults don't listen. They be out here wilding too. So it's like, give these kids grace because they just got here. They're learning just like we're still learning. We're still learning. Give the kids grace, especially these little kids, okay? I don't believe that you need to beat the hell out of a toddler, like a little toddler. I be wanting to. I be wanting to jack her up, but I don't, because it's like, all right, she's 4. Like, she doesn't know. Like, she knows, but she doesn't. So just remember that if you're parenting, give your kids grace. Even if your kid is like 15, like, there's levels to it. There's levels to their understanding. And they'll be more appreciative of you and respect you more if you have a conversation with them. And I don't know, like, I'm a firm believer in timeout because my daughter hates it. Okay, like, you're going in the corner, go stand in the corner. You going in timeout. Like, I'm big on timeout. Or you can't watch TV. You can't play on your tablet. Like, you can't go outside and play. She likes to go outside and play. Like, you can take things away from them and discipline them in that way, or make them do chores, make them clean up, something like that. You can make them exercise, but yeah. Get onto their level. Be more understanding. Have a conversation with them. Things like that. That's something I wish the people who were raising me did. Like, let me have a voice. Like, get down on my level. Have a conversation with me, so I can understand it. Because sometimes kids are acting out. They don't even know why they're acting out. When I'm a father, I'm spanking my kids. I'm going to stay in the gym so my sons will never be stronger than me until they are ready to take over the family as a new head. I mean, that's your prerogative. That's your prerogative. Like, I understand why people do what they do. Me personally, I can't do it. I can't do it. Because I feel like anytime I've ever wanted to spank her, it was out of anger. And I don't feel like you should hit a kid out of anger. Because what does that say about you? Like, you can't even control yourself, but you expect your child to be able to control themselves. Like, yeah. I'm just... Well, I was literally just speaking to my mother about me connecting more with my daughters, like, literally just 5 minutes ago. That's funny. I don't know why this turned into a whole parenting sermon. I know some of y'all never gonna have kids, but listen anyway. You might have a nephew or a niece. My grandma used to make us do hard labor for free and paid us with the food we planted. Oh, wow. So you was in the garden. She made us read the Bible to punish us. No. My grandma used to make us go get a switch off the tree. That's what my grandma used to make us do. We used to have to get a switch. Yeah. I just hope my generation, because I be seeing these kids, and these kids that came from the millennials, these teenagers is out of control. Like, these 12-year-olds, I would say from age like 11 to 16, these kids are out of control. It's really sad. Like, these kids are murdering people. They're doing armed robberies. I don't know who. I'm scared. Like, I'm scared. I don't know who is raising these kids, and I don't want to. I mean, I can blame the parent, but I don't know what the situation is. But these new kids are scary. It's scary. It's very scary. I'm not. I don't want my daughter getting on social media. I don't want her doing none of that. I almost want to homeschool her because it's scary how these new kids are. I've seen every day on the news, especially where I live. I live in Atlanta. These kids is having shootouts. These kids, like 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds. I just seen an 11-year-old robbed Wells Fargo. An 11-year-old. That's crazy. When I was 11, what was I doing when I was 11? I was coloring. And you are robbing Wells Fargo. And they haven't even caught the kids, I don't think. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And Atlanta is so bad. Like they're so, don't even get me started on Atlanta. Atlanta needs work. Like I wish I was a millionaire right now because Atlanta really needs work. It's so many homeless kids in Atlanta, y'all. It's a lot of homeless children. And when you get hungry, you get desperate, and they're doing armed robberies, like home invasions, stealing people's cars, like killing each other to eat and to have shoes. It's really bad here. It's so bad here. If you drive to Atlanta, like in the city, and like drive through the neighborhoods, or you don't even gotta drive to the neighborhoods. You can go to like Cascade area. You'll see a bunch of homeless kids walking around. I'm in Stone Mountain. I see the same thing. That's sad. It's sad because it could be like runaways. It could be anything. It's just West End, and I see this mom and her two children all the time at the Goodwill. Sorry to call her out like that, but it makes me feel so sad. Oh, it is sad. It is. I mean, homelessness is on the rise anyway, but I hate to see a child because I feel like the child in the situation is like, how did you end up here? Like as an adult, I mean, homelessness is bad, but as you can figure out along the lines what you did or didn't do to end up there, but a child though is like, it's sad. I stay in Gwinnett. I mean Gwinnett. Sorry. You know I'm not from Atlanta talking like that. I stay in Gwinnett, the cab. Never seen homeless kids unless they're with their parents in the corner. I be seeing them everywhere, especially boys. Honestly, it's mostly boys I see. It's a lot of homeless boys. Yeah, there should be more programs for the youth. They should be. And I feel like, honestly, social media is part of the problem. And I know we can blame parents, which I do feel like parents are partly to blame, but I also feel like social media is a poison because it doesn't matter what your parents say. If you get on Instagram and you see all your favorite celebrities and everybody got the newest car, the newest shoes, like these kids feel like they have to have these things to feel important. They don't know who they are. They don't care to learn anything about themselves. They have gifts and talents that they don't even want to tap into and don't even know how to because social media is telling them that they need to have the new, I don't know, the new Amaris and drive the best car. And I feel like we need more, what's the word? Community. There needs to be more community. And we don't have that. These kids don't have community. They don't have people around them to look up to. Like, I don't think girls or boys do. Who are the role models? Like, I haven't seen a lot of male role models lately, which I love to see that. But I don't know if they're going into these schools or not. I don't know that. But who are these girls looking up to, honestly? I feel like every person that girls look up to, girls, not grown women, girls, they all look alike. They all look alike and they're all doing the same things. And it's okay for them to do the things that they're doing. Like, I'm talking about the girls who are getting surgery at 21 and they got the big boobs, the big butt, and shaking ass all up and down Instagram and throwing racks in the club. That's okay because there's people like that. And it's okay for them to be who they are, but that's it. Who else is it? There aren't too many other female role models, and they all are looking the same and doing the exact same thing. So of course these little girls feel like they have to do that. That's all they see. When I was coming up, it was only like a couple of those type of girls. Okay, it was only a couple of them. But there were so many different varieties of female and male role models. But now it's like you either this or this. It's nothing else. And it's sad. It really is. And people don't see the problem. I hate when people say like, only reason y'all care is because y'all want to look good to white people. Like, I'm just talking to my people. Like, that's what a comment is always said by people who look like me. Only reason y'all have a problem with this because y'all want to impress white people. Why would I want to do that? Maybe I just care about the youth, or maybe I have another eye to see. Like, maybe I'm just looking with my other eye and using my common sense. There's a reason why they are only portraying this type of woman and man in the media. There's a reason for that. There are powers that be who are in control of the media, and they decide who gets on the front page and who doesn't. And they're being very intentional, and they are intentionally choosing to pick certain people to get opportunities and to get ahead that look a certain way, to get to us, to get to our youth. And if you don't see that, then you're just, I guess you just lack intelligence, because it's very obvious. Because if that was the case, because they can say, why don't y'all support these other artists? We do support these other artists. The problem is these artists are not getting the opportunities that they're supposed to get because the powers that be do not want them there. Because if they get there, then they will have a effect on the masses. They will have an effect on the youth that goes against their agenda. They have a very specific agenda for our people. That's just what it is. These kids don't even have the opportunity to like other things because they're not showing them other things. And yeah, your parent at home can be like, oh, you should like this, like, oh, you should watch her, you should read this. But when they get to school, because you know when you hit a certain age, you don't care about what your parents think. And they know that too. They don't care what their parents think. They're not going to care what their parents think until they're like 20-something years old. But as kids at school, if all of their peers like the same thing, typically they're going to follow behind that because that's what's cool and they don't want to be singled out. And I wish people would stop pretending they don't know how society works. That's how society works. And when you're a kid, you're probably going to follow the crowd. Yeah, a couple of y'all's kids aren't going to follow the crowd, but that's the exception, not the rule. Most people are going to follow the herd. It's only a few of us who are not afraid to be ourselves and are willing to step outside the box. Everyone else is going to do what everyone else is doing, especially a child. Like, you think the powers that be don't study us and study our children from a very small age? Every single generation was studied by the people that control this world. They study every single generation, yours and mine, just to see how are we going to affect this one? How are we going to get this generation? What are we going to do to this generation? How can we reprogram this generation? How can we throw subliminals at this one? And this generation just so happens to be the generation that they're using social media and being very intentional to try to basically trick our children into growing up really fast. These kids aren't kids anymore. They don't even know what it's like to be a kid. When I was growing up, like, it was, you were grade school, it was preteen. Sorry, y'all, my phone's gonna die. It was grade school, then it was preteen, then it was teen. Like, it was levels. And we knew when we hit this age, we were gonna go to this store and start shopping here, and we're gonna listen to this music and this artist each stage. These kids are 4 years old, 5 years old, listen to Sexy Red. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. But who else are they supposed to listen to? You can play Coco Melon at home, but an after school program, she with her friend Vanessa, who got an iPhone at 5 years old, and Vanessa got access to the internet because her parents aren't paying attention to what she's watching, and Vanessa's on YouTube watching Sexy Red. Now your child is exposed to Sexy Red just that quick. And if everyone else thinks it's cool, they just think it's cool. And you can try and try and try and try and like tell your kid, like, get in their head, which I feel like you should still always try to do. Like, don't give up on it. But at the end of the day, you cannot control every single thing that your kid watches and sees. They go to school. Like, you can't keep them away from their friends. They're going to go to their friend's house at some point. Even if you don't let them have sleepovers, even if you homeschool them, they're going to be around people eventually. Unless you're going to be one of those moms. What's that lady name? Who just got out of jail because she murdered her mom because her mom was like crazy and like kept her away from the world. Unless you're gonna be one of those type of moms, you gotta allow your kids to have some form of freedom and experience people and be social. And during their social interactions, they're gonna run into people who think differently than them, and they may want to be like them. I just hate that there is like, it's intentional programming. It's very, very intentional. And it's just crazy. And it's sad. And I just hope that during this time period that we're in now, where the world is ending, like the world is ending, but in a good way, not literally, but it's ending. The world as we know it is ending. Things are changing. I hope during this time, that's one of those things that change. Like, I hope whatever they're trying to do for the youth, I hope we're able to crush it and end it. Because, no, I feel like they're trying to make these kids grow up really, really fast. At the same time, that right under our nose, I don't know if y'all know this, I've said it online before, right under our nose, in what, 48 states, they made child marriage legal. So the same time they're trying to make these little kids grow up and be grown, they're making child marriage legal. They're trying to spread their little pedophilia agenda. Every time I get on the internet, it's some grown man or some grown woman who done did something to a little kid, or they are 60 years old dating an 18-year-old, or they're 30 dating an 18-year-old, or they've been grooming some other little kid or some other little boy or girl. I see this every day, and it's almost like they're intentionally trying to normalize it. Like, I low-key feel like they're trying to normalize child and adult relationships. Like, low-key. I feel like that's what they're trying to do. Because why every day I see y'all talking, I see pictures and videos of little 17-year-old and 18-year-old girls dating these 50, 60-year-old men. Why do I keep seeing that? And then I just seen, like, if y'all have y'all noticed that? Y'all noticed that? Like, and then I just seen another celebrity is a woman. She's way older, which is her preference because everybody's an adult in that situation. But I just feel like it's still intentional. This older woman is dating these, it's like I see older women dating these young men, and these older men dating these young women. I wonder why I see this every single day. Are y'all trying to normalize adult and children relationships? Because I'm pretty sure I heard something about that a couple years ago. The same time that y'all are normalizing, y'all legalized child marriage. It's interesting. No, I'm not gonna stop, and that's not how you spell my name. If you don't like it, then hop off the live, babe. It's an important conversation, and I feel like if you're uncomfortable, that says something about you, not me. Y'all just pay attention, okay? Pay attention to what they're trying to do, especially if you have children. Pay attention to your children. If they have cell phones, you need to have access to it. You need to be looking into their cell phone. I'm sorry. If you paying for that phone by a certain age, you need to be making sure you're paying attention to what they're looking at, because it could save their life. That's just what I believe. Pay attention to your kids, talk to your kids, watch your kids, still instill wisdom in them. Like, Don't abuse them, don't dog them, or they're not going to talk to you and they're going to lie to you. So make sure you have a relationship where they feel comfortable enough to talk to you, because something weird is going on and it's very noticeable. They're trying to normalize something and it has to do with these kids, and we're not going to allow it. I wasn't even planning on talking about this, so God must really want me to speak on this. Y'all notice as soon as I started talking about it, all of a sudden it's like these weird accounts coming in here saying random stuff. Because where was y'all at the whole time? These kids need to go to church. That's the answer, church. They trying to relax child labor laws too. I noticed that. Pay attention. Elections coming up. Pay attention to these laws that they're passing, y'all. Pay attention to them because they be passing them right under our noses. They don't need our permission. So pay attention to that. They're trying to do something and it has to do with these kids. And I feel like they're using celebrities and people in the media to like showing these kids this stuff. Like these little tiny little girls. I don't care if you 18, you a little girl standing next to this big burly 60-year-old man. Like, what y'all trying to do? What y'all trying to do? Because I pay attention. I don't play that. Our vote is permission. They don't need your vote to pass every single law. Did y'all vote to make child marriage legal? Show of hands, who voted to make child marriage legal in 48 states in the United States? That's where I live. Because I guarantee you, none of y'all knew that. And if you did, you found out after it was passed, you did not vote. So again, like I said, none of these people are for us. It doesn't matter who you're voting for in Congress, the Senate, the president. None of that matters because all of them lie and all of them still have to serve this one agenda at the end of the day. And if they tell you, I'm gonna change healthcare, and I'm gonna change the hunger crisis and the homeless crisis, I'm gonna do all of these things, they're not going to do them. And if they did, they're still gonna do other things right under your nose, right in your face. I promise you, it doesn't matter what side that you're on. Both of the sides are terrible. Clearly, if you don't learn anything from history, clearly both sides are terrible, but you don't gotta take my word for it. But alright, y'all. My phone is about to die. I'm gonna have to hop off the live. But I love you guys. I think this was a good topic to talk about. I know some of y'all were uncomfortable, but you're just gonna have to be uncomfortable. I'm sorry. Sometimes you gotta have uncomfortable conversations. But I love y'all, and I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. I hope you have a great Memorial Day. Please go get some sleep. Please get some sleep, get some rest, reset. We're about to go into a brand new month. We are almost halfway through the year already, y'all. So I hope that you're progressing and you're moving forward. And by the end of this year, you're in a much better place than you were when you started, okay? It's all about progression. It's all about the journey. It's all about elevation. So I hope you're still elevating your mind, your body, and your soul, okay? Don't be out here living in fear. No one is trying to spread fear. We're just trying to spread the truth. And they don't like people who spread the truth. They don't like us. Bye.